everyone, it's your buddy Dan here, and today we have an awesome show for you because I got the chance to sit down and chat with Liz Dialto from lizdialto.com, and we went over a bunch of cool stuff like what her new workouts are all about and how she's using them to stay motivated, the little known trick that she actually learned from Tony Robbins that immediately gets rid of that lazy feeling, and the awesome books that she's read that helped her to shape her life, and so much more. So without further ado, enjoy the interview. Hey everyone, it's your host Dan here, and today we have a very special guest joining us. She's been featured all over in places like the Huffington Post, Self Magazine, and Shape Magazine, and her mission is to empower as many women as possible to achieve their health goals. So for that reason, I asked her to come on the show today and chat with us a little bit about what she's learned so far in her health journey. So great to speak with you today, Liz. I understand you just moved out to the West Coast, so how's everything going with you?
It's going great. I think the aim is to have more of a bi-coastal lifestyle where I bounce back and forth, but it's looking like I'll probably spend more time out here because it's gorgeous.
Right, so you used to live in New York City?
Yes.
Cool, so I'm sure the weather must be a lot nicer out there then.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I'm seeing like my friends' pictures on Instagram and Facebook and everything of like trudging through the snow, and I'm walking on the beach and I can't be upset about that.
Yeah, definitely not. I can relate because it's like -20 right here. There's snow everywhere, so it's pretty brutal. So just for some context, I think it would be great if we could just start with how you got involved into the whole health and fitness thing so deeply. Like, what's the background story behind all that, and how did you get into empowering women to become more healthy?
So I grew up really athletic, playing sports. I was always active. And then when I got to college, I was still really active, although I didn't play sports because my school had a really amazing fitness facility. And then when I graduated, my first career was in sales. I was running a district sales office for a company working like 60 to 70 hours a week, and I totally got out of shape. Now, out of shape for me has never been super fat or anything like that, but I was probably 10 to 15 pounds heavier than I am now and just felt really crappy, like tired, lethargic, just wasn't happy, confident, energetic, and eating like crap because I just didn't know how to prioritize myself. I wasn't making the time. So when I left sales, I actually got recruited right off the floor at New York Sports Club. I was working out one day, and the fitness manager was like, "Have you ever thought about being a trainer?" I was like, "Actually, I have thought about that. How would that work?" And that was it. I literally started as an apprentice trainer, picking up weights on the gym room floor, wearing that red T-shirt at New York Sports Club back like 4 or 5 years ago. And then I always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit, though. So a friend of mine showed me who Marie Forleo was. I went to one of her events. She's a big business mentor for women entrepreneurs. And I was like, all right, cool. I could take this thing online and reach way more people, which is really fun and exciting. And then just over the last couple of years, I've kind of hit my stride in realizing the kind of content I enjoy creating, how I like to reach people through videos, blogs, recipes, and social media is amazing because people love to just follow your journey with you. So even though some people hate it, I'm taking pictures of what I'm eating all the time, my sweaty self after my workouts, and people love that because they can relate and they like to see that lifestyle and how they can recreate it for themselves.
Right. I mean, there's always going to be haters no matter what you do, right?
Yeah, and there's so many different genres, and it took a little while. I was like comparing myself. I'm never going to be the fitness model with the six pack, and that's fine. Like I love to, be a normal person. I still am in great shape. I look great. I feel great in my clothes or bathing suit or whatever, but I live my life and I enjoy myself too. I don't have to carry containers of food with me everywhere I go.
Right. That's why what really drew me to you was like I noticed that you just try and help your clients to feel good in their own skin. So like, if they feel like big is beautiful, then like rock it, be big, be beautiful, but it's just all about being happy with your body.
Yeah, that's really a big deal. Because fairly often we realize that we actually already have what we want. It's just a mindset shift.
Right, right. So I actually just recently saw another one of your interviews where you spoke about what you're doing for fitness now, like the system that you're doing, and how you're moving away from like bulking exercises and moving more toward feminine based exercises. Like what I mean by that is like less heavy lifting and low rep stuff and more practical movements and maybe some spirituality stuff mixed in there. So, which you obviously love. So, can you just tell us a little bit about your new workout program and how it's working for you?
Yeah, I still do love kettlebell workouts and high intensity interval training workouts, and I'll sprinkle them in. But I've been doing a lot more body weight stuff and dance kind of workouts and yoga. I've really gotten into yoga, and let me tell you something. Yoga is freaking hard
Yeah.
because it's so mental too. Like you really, it's the thing that I'm enjoying the most about yoga is no workout has ever challenged me before to be so present during the workout.
Right.
When you've been working out since you're 12 years old, at a certain point, squat presses and all these other things that you've been doing forever, you can shut off. You could be totally mindless, not there doing it, not in your body. So for me, I've been really trying out things that make me stay present while I'm doing it. So I actually have to like go in, tune in, and listen to my body in order to get the best results, but also not hurt myself because, when you go from not being super flexible and always doing strength and endurance and things like that, I have a lot of work to do in terms of opening up my hips, my shoulders, and stuff like that. So it's also pretty painful, but it's good.
Have you tried Bikram yoga at all?
That's actually the one I've been doing the longest. I had a client several years ago who was a Bikram yoga instructor. I actually trained her before she went to teacher training because she wanted to build some strength because obviously the opposite of flexibility is that strength. And yeah, I love Bikram. Not all the time. It's not something I would ever do like 3 times a week, but maybe once or twice a month. I really enjoy it. It almost feels like you're wringing out your entire body in 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, I tried it a couple times. I think I just butchered, how you're supposed to enunciate that word, so I won't say it again, but
That's
I
okay.
tr I tried it and like literally I felt like someone, I was a wet towel and someone just like wrung me out after. I felt so good and so cleansed, but it's like you said, it's so hard to do.
Yeah, and also too, I taught group exercise classes for years, and I do plan on starting some back up now that I'm out here because I miss teaching classes. It's so much fun. But I'm really anal about instructors and cues, especially in something where if you've never done it before, some of those positions are really hard to get into. And in a room that hot, you could really hurt yourself. They're going, lock out your knees, and you're just totally not ready to do that.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm not locking
No,
on.
not today.
So, touching on what you just said about, being present in your workouts and having fun, like how can someone who's just starting out to work out, right? Like how can they find the right balance between health and their work life?
Balance is an interesting word. I still don't necessarily know if I believe in it because your version of balance might be different from my version of balance. I think the barometer to measure whether or not you're balanced is your energy. If you are waking up in the morning and you're like jumping out of bed ready to take on the day, that's a good sign that you're probably well balanced. If you're waking up in the morning and you have to drag yourself out of bed and you feel like you can't start your day without a cup of coffee or something like that, that shows a little bit of imbalance. Also, like, how do you feel? If you're negative most of the time, if you're upset or sad most of the time, stressed most of the time, that's probably a good sign that you're not in balance. So there's a lot of different things people can do, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling. One of my favorite things that I study, I'm a huge nerd around this, are the Myers-Briggs personality types. And it's just a really powerful tool because when you understand your personality type, you can really figure out where do you get your energy from and just make sure you incorporate more of that into your life. For example, I'm an extrovert, and extrovert doesn't mean I'm super outgoing, even though I am. Extrovert just means I get my energy being around other people. Introverts get their energy. Introvert doesn't necessarily mean they're shy. it just means that they get their energy more from going in and spending time on their own. So knowing those things about ourselves is really important because you could just take that time. Like I have friends who are introverts who need to go spend like a day or two on their own once a week so that they can come be more present, more energetic in every other part of their life, even at work and stuff like that. So that's a really powerful tool for, figuring out and not having to apologize for it. You are who you are. That
Exactly.
that's nature, and you can't. Some people try to be what they think they're supposed to be in the context of their family, their life, their job, how everyone else is. It's really important to just honor who you are and respect those things and make sure you're scheduling activities, time, and downtime if that's what you need to re-energize and make sure you feel good.
Right. So let's just say you had like, a new client come to you today and she wanted you to coach her, but she has never worked out before, right? So would the first thing you would do would just have them analyze themselves, or you would help them to analyze themselves to figure out what type of personality they are and how they could draw that motivation to work out?
Yeah, I have when I take on coaching clients, they fill out this pretty lengthy assessment before we start. And one of the most important questions I ask is, what are your top three stressors? And I don't actually get into the personality stuff immediately. Probably that would be like on the first or second call because it's just interesting. And I like to have them try things because most people, even if they're not in a consistent program, have probably moved or exercised at some point in their life. And, that's the point. If someone's just brand new starting out is to just get them moving and not feel, and it's also gradual because most people too, I find that the eating well is going to get them better and faster results than whatever exercise they take on. Because if I had to choose, if someone said to me, you can only eat well or exercise, you can't do both, I would choose eat well
Right.
because I believe that that's about 80% responsible for the results that people get. And that's a number I made up. That is not based on any kind of science. So don't be like, Liz Dialto says 80% of the time. Um, so again, yeah, I want people to get moving and find out what they enjoy doing because if you're forcing yourself to do something, that's never going to yield the kind of results that you want anyway if you hate it.
Right, right. And that actually leads right into my next question perfectly because we were just talking about, keeping things fun and being it makes it much easier to be motivated to work out. So like what do you do in your workouts or with your clients that, to keep the workouts fun and not seem like it's a chore every day?
Yeah, everybody's different. One of the things I do is I keep the workout short. I am a big fan of workouts that are 30 minutes or less because that doesn't feel like a chore. And even if you don't love, love, love the actual workout, knowing it's over in 30 minutes and how amazing you feel after for a lot of people is just the amount of motivation they need to get through it. And it's also like a lesson in personal power because it's like, I could do anything for 30 minutes. So since I work with a lot of women, a lot of my tricks work really well for women, but sometimes it's just getting a new pair of sneakers, buying a cute outfit, like doing something like that, putting on some lip gloss. I remember I used to tease one of my clients. I'm like, did you put on lip gloss before you came into the gym? She's like, yeah, it makes me feel cute. I'm like, you know what? Whatever is your thing. So again, it has to do a lot with people's personalities, but maybe it's the playlist. I go through phases where there's like, I have like a pump up song. If you ever played sports, it was like the warm up tape.
For
I like to
sure.
have a warm up tape for my workout. Whatever is the song right now that's going to get me fired up. And, for me, lots of times it'll be like like some old hip hop song from like the early 90s, but whatever it is, to get people to kind of get their energy up and change their state before they even start the workout. That makes a big difference too.
Yeah, I just want to just let me pull something out of what you just said really quick because I think the main takeaway from all that was to change your state, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be in the right state when you go to work out. So can you touch more specifically on that? Like how would you go about changing your own state from feeling like lazy? Because, even though you're great and you work out all the time, like I'm sure that you have times where you're just like, oh, I don't feel like doing this right now. So like how do you change your state when you feel like that?
Yeah. No, actually, for the most part, I took the fall off from working out. And for me, that means I only worked out anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. after for the last decade of my life being more of like a 4 to 6 days a week type of person. And I wasn't feeling super motivated. And so I just gave myself permission to, and it's not even being lazy, just to rest. My body wanted rest. So I did. I focused more on eating well, obviously, because I still wanted to be in shape. But the change your state, and this is something I learned. I went to a Tony Robbins event in March of last year, and the easiest way to change your state is to change your physicality. So even if it's like jumping around, like you literally want to change the movement and what your cells in your body are doing. So if it's a song and you're going to like booty shake it out for a few minutes or literally jump around, or maybe you yell, maybe you sing, maybe you literally just shake it out. I don't know if you've ever heard of EFT tapping, but some people will just do like a little like tapping here and stuff like this to wake you up. A friend of mine teaches what's called the Franklin method, where one of the things you do, you're padding.
Yeah.
That totally wakes you up. Sometimes in the morning, I'll do that. I'll just kind of shake everything out a little bit, roll my shoulders out, pat myself literally from head to toe like this, and shake it out. Anything that's bothering you, you can literally think about. Imagine people who are on your nerves they're sucking your energy. You're like karate chopping, cutting the cords, like whatever you need to do to move, shake, literally wake yourself up physically. I mean, I even feel different now after just doing that quick little demonstration for you. So it's quick and simple, but totally works.
Cool, cool. And I know you got to run and do a coaching session really quick, so I just want to keep you for one more question and then we'll let you get on your way. I'm just wondering, can you recommend to me and to some of our listeners some of the good books that you've read that could help them out or helped you out, helped you change your life?
Yeah, there's several. I'm a big book nerd. So I love one of the biggest ones, the first ones when I really made a bunch of changes were Chris Carr's Crazy Sexy Diet and the New Me Diet. That's by Jade and Keone Tada, which I can email you this stuff so you don't have to write it down.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm actually great friends with Jade, and they run a company called The Metabolic Effect, and that's where I got a lot of my nutrition training and even one of my group exercise certifications from. They're amazing. Their blog also is fantastic. I love their information. There's a book by a guy named Gary Taubes, or Taubes, I don't know how to say his name, called Why We Get Fat. It's just super interesting to understand food and what it does to your body. And then more on the side of, I love energy work and healing. And there's a book called Anatomy of the Spirit, which is really cool. I'm really into like the chakra system and figuring out, if my throat hurts, it's not necessarily the symptom. What's actually going on in my fifth chakra? And for some people, they're like, Liz, what the hell are you talking about? Just Google the chakra system. You'll figure it out. But I love stuff like that. And then last year, so amazing, Wayne Dyer, the book is called The Power of Intention. Super good. And then one of my all-time favorite books is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I just took you on the spectrum from like science and biochemistry to like high-level spirituality and energetic work. So you kind of pick your poison.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna have to rewind this tape and write those down for sure. So, just wondering really quick before you jet off. So for our listeners, if they want to check you out, I'm going to leave a link for them below this video, but where would be the best place for them to check you out? Is LizDialto the best.com? Is that
Yeah,
where?
my website, because from there you can see everything. Any blogs, recipes, videos, there's links to my YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, everything's on there. So I call that my online playground.
Awesome, awesome. So for all of you listeners, make sure to hit that link below. Check out Liz's blog and all her resources, her coaching program. Join her list because she has some great stuff to offer. Thanks so much for getting on the show with us today, Liz, and we're always happy to have you.
Thanks so much.